Right, still Breakfast Central on News Central. Today is a Thursday. We know many parts of Africa, particularly West Africa, we are having the rainy season. I really wonder what the papers have been talking about it and what it might also mean for famine, you know.
Flood. We need to prepare for that. You know, it's almost like a broken record where every year we're complaining about the same thing that we know happens at a particular time of the year. We know at this time of the year there'll be lots of rains. It has been predicted that as the years go by, the rains get heavier, the water becomes heavier, and yet we always have the same problems and we keep crying about it. Is it rocket science?
And from east to west, I know in our parts, of West Africa, the heavens have been opening up into by the 10th day of June, and it will get on and on and on. Up until July, before we have the
August break.
So really how it affects vegetation, how it affects our plans for harvesting, and also how
prepared are we for that?
Yes, and also for other places like the Horn of Africa, Somalia, Sudan, East Africa, Tanzania. They've also had problems about locusts this time of the year. In the last two years, swarms of locusts eating crops. But they talked about global warming, also the El Nino effect going on in different parts of Africa.
So layer depletion.
Yes, climate change is clearly here, and perhaps we hope that we don't get more rains and flooding, especially if we live in Lagos, Nigeria.
All right, moving on, we have this story in Nigeria, West Africa, where Nigeria's Minister of Information and Culture, that is Alhaji Lai Mohammed, has disclosed the readiness of Twitter, for engagement with the federal government after the government suspended the operations of the microblogging site just last week, Friday. Now, speaking with correspondents after the weekly Federal Executive Council, that is the FEC meeting, Mohammed said Twitter had reached out to the government, of course, seeking high-level discussion to resolve the issue.
Now, the minister stressed that the microblogging platform Twitter was suspended because it provided an avenue for people threatening, in their words, the corporate existence of Nigeria, and listed what they've termed conditions that must be met, even if there's a discussion with Twitter, including that it must now be, registered in Nigeria as a business concern.
Now, apart from Twitter, he said other social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram must be registered in the country. Now, the minister maintained that freedom of speech has not been stifled by the suspension of Twitter, as Nigerians can still use other platforms such as Facebook and Instagram.
All right, so joining us right now is our head of research and monitoring desk, Abdulateef Ahmed. Abdulateef, good morning to you. You have been busy following every day, sleepless nights since the Twitter shutdown. And I wonder how you've also been coping with your research and monitoring so far so good. But what's the latest now that we have Lai Mohammed saying that Twitter has reached out to them and there are conditions that Nigerian government will give Twitter to register here as a business before perhaps even talk about lifting the ban?
Okay, so there are legitimate concerns that social media platforms where people do businesses and people communicate, exchange ideas, and discuss about concerns that affect them directly. And sometimes it is probably the easiest or the safest place to announce emergencies and get people to act or respond to certain initiatives. However, the concern of government about trying to regulate or trying to put things the way they want it in such a way that they feel the country is safer, well, on the outside, that is fine. However, in terms of implementation, they may want to whip up laws that seek to gag popular opinions and direct discussions in their own favor. Social media is difficult to regulate because sometimes you have terrorist groups using it as platform to push their agenda. But when you consider the number of people who are using such mediums to earn legitimately, to interact, to rub minds, then you begin to wonder why you need to put all of these checks on social media platforms.
All right, now looking at what you just said and looking at the business side of it, I mean, from the information we've gotten from our business desk from NAS, it says 2 billion naira was lost per day that in Twitter, I beg your pardon, not Instagram, that Twitter was shut down. Now, looking at situations like this, does the pro not outweigh the con in this kind of scenario?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, considering the condition of the country at the moment, and the entire world at the moment seeking to move out of the economic quagmire that a lot of people are facing, you will wonder why a government that is interested in improving the lives of people will not weigh the losses that are being incurred on an hourly basis while this ban lasts. So it's something that the government should look into beyond certain rules for Twitter. I mean, because if you really want to regulate, you should be asking, for example, what happens to other platforms. How do you regulate WhatsApp, for example? How do you regulate Instagram? Yes, you can register these businesses, these social media platforms, but you shouldn't gag people from talking. You shouldn't gag people from exchanging ideas and promoting their businesses.
Well, Lateef, one of the quotes from Lai Mohammed's office about why the ban came, they said threatening the corporate existence of Nigeria, because many Nigerians, perhaps, look twice when they heard that statement, because if they look at things that are threatening the corporate existence, they have to look at the situation of insecurity, and not particularly online on the Twitter space. But beyond that, Lateef, we talked about freedom of expression, freedom of speech being clamped down here. But on the other hand, the government also have active governance handles that they themselves cannot access, and even their diplomatic presence on Twitter is all down because of this ban. So where do we go from here?
Yeah, so that is it. It's like shooting yourself in the foot. In trying to ban or stop people from access to Twitter, there are lots of people across the world who monitor activities in the country, who try to get an access or have an idea of what is going on across various sectors in the economy, from IT to governance to open space, to democracy, to civil engagement. They monitor some of these things by the engagements they find on Twitter and other social media platforms. So it's essentially doing themselves in by gagging or trying to stop people from accessing the most popular vehicle for communication, among young people in Nigeria.
All right, Abdul-Lateef Ahmed, thank you very much. We hope that now that they've said that Twitter has reached out to them and they have given Twitter conditions, that perhaps we might have our Twitter handles back again, and not perhaps start thinking about VPN disruptions.
Hopefully.
Thank you very much, Abdul-Lateef Ahmed, once again, our research and monitoring desk. Thank you.